Is it that time again?
Mhm.
Great. I know I'm actually missing it. I love these live sessions. They're a lot more fun than these. Well, I get angry with myself. I don't do things right. And I never get angry with you guys, and you never get angry with me. So I like
Yes,
these a
you
lot
do. No, I'm just kidding.
more. Shh. Shh. What happens behind the scenes stays behind the scenes. Everyone thinks I'm a nice
I
wizard.
was talking about me. You get mad at me. No, I'm just joking.
Oh, you cover good. That you just got a Christmas bonus. All right. How you doing, everybody? I'm John Zidar. That's Taylor hackling in the background back there.
Yeah.
Today we are looking at about 8 stocks that we got from you guys, my loyal viewers. I appreciate it. I've got some of these from Twitter. I got most of them actually here today from our comment list. Speaking of that comment list, let me pull that up. And I love seeing my regular, loyal followers. Not going to go through all your names, but you know I love you. You know I know who you are. I mean, if it wasn't for you guys, I just wouldn't feel this great about doing what I'm doing. So this is what it means to have followers. And, you know, it's good that I'm a small guy now because what's going to happen when I do get popular? Hit 10,000 or a million, you know, then you can't even
Please
answer.
forget about us. No, I'm just joking.
You can't even answer every comment. Right now, I still have the ability to answer every single comment that people leave me anywhere. That I like that. And I'm going to feel guilty when I can't answer every single one. Like right now, I'm not feeling bad because it looks like we got virtually every single ticker that was requested today. So thank God. If you're coming in late, well, you're not going to know if you come in late, but any tickers you drop now, I'm probably not going to get to. And if you're watching this recorded, don't drop a ticker. That's just silly. I can't do it then. Okay, so let's get into this. I have got a lot of information here. I've also taken some notes because as much as I like to remember everything, I don't. And I look back later and say, oh, I forgot to show them that. And that's the whole point. You come here because I do so much due diligence and you're hoping maybe I can find something you didn't already find. I just don't want to look at what's here. I want to dig into some of it a little. And if there's nothing here, go to maybe some of my secret pages so I can find something for you. I want to make this worth your while. But in saying that, I'm only doing a gloss over, right? We're not doing a deep dive here. So don't rely on my due diligence to be your investment advice. This is just backup for you. Go do your own due diligence behind me. So first one we are going to take a look at is a real good one. This is ticker CYN, Sing Inc. I do believe I've covered this before. Normally, I would have had that at the
We
top of my
have.
head just to promote the video. No,
Back
I
in
don't think on this
February.
show. I think I've done a video on this, and I really like this company now. They've got a lot going on. Let me see here. My notes. All right. Okay. So this is a company that makes autonomous robotic vehicles. And these are the 3 vehicles that they primarily work with: the tugger, a forklift, and a stock chaser. Now, they do sell what you see here in the pictures, but if you have your own equipment, they can just bring you the software and the brains and just attach that to your equipment. So you don't have to buy the entire piece of equipment. You can just buy the software and the brains of it. And these are for factories and warehouses, and they've been doing this now for a while. So we've actually got stats on it. Now, I've been looking at this company closer just to give you an idea of what we're talking about. All their machines are manual as well as autonomous. So if you want to use it, and there are things you can do that autonomous can't. For example, the one we're looking at here, this is the stock chaser. Top speed, if you're driving, is 8 miles an hour. Top speed, if it's autonomous, is 3 miles per hour. Why? I don't know. It doesn't matter. That's just what it is. It can tow up to 10 of these wagons you see behind it, and it can tow up to 6,000 pounds, which is 3 tons. That's a lot. As a matter of fact, they've been using this long enough now to know what it can do. No, I don't need the volume. They are now getting reports in that production is up 400% by using this equipment. But here's the kicker. Along with those stats, we see stats there have been more raises, more upgrades in positions in the companies because the people that were wasting their labor energy pushing stuff around and getting it are now doing more important jobs that need skill, not just labor. So it is working out. And they've had big news come out here recently. Now, the OTC didn't have news. Maybe they do right now. I don't know. But what I like to do is to find one of the major news outlets out there, PR Newswire or Globe. If their company uses it, go to any piece of their news. And when you get to it, just click on their name. And that place, PR News, is where I'm at, will give you all their news in chronological order. Fling, you just get all the company's news, just that simple. So it's real easy to get information in other places than just the OTC market. So I've gone back here quite a ways. We're not going to dive into all this news, but I want you to see what they're doing. Now, they've been working with this for a while, and more people are jumping onto the bandwagon, and now they've made some serious improvements. The company reveals first footage of AI-powered autonomous Motrek tugger. Now, I didn't realize it, but I had posted news on Twitter. That is a new vehicle that they've got, the Motrek. It's an autonomous vehicle with a lot of seats in it. So maybe it drives you around. But this is one of their new vehicles. And oh, don't tell me I closed it. No. I did. I closed my news. What a bummer. Okay. I know what I was looking at. So, oh man, I had that all the way over at Yahoo, didn't I? Let's see if they have the news here. Come on. All right. We can work with it here. It was prettier over there, though. How far back did I go? They're doing a lot right now. They've got a contract with John Deere. They've got a contract with Rivian. That's the Michigan EV truck maker, I believe it is. They have had some investments come in, public offerings. So they've got money on the table right now. Let me see here. Oh, right. All right. There was something I needed to share here with you. One, they just made a deal with Robot Lab. Robot Lab is a proven company that is already distributing robots for other companies. They've already distributed 10,000 robots. So now this company is using that company as one of their distributors. That's a good piece of news. Then I was looking at the shareholder letter from the CEO. I love shareholder letters. This is coming directly from the CEO, and normally they want to brag. They want to shine their light as bright as they can, and they'll tell you not only what's happened, but what they plan on doing. Well, it wasn't all that great, and he's pretty much, you don't get many CEOs hoping that you agree. We consider a reverse stock split a last measure to regain compliance with the NASDAQ's $1 minimum. Right now, we overlooked that, didn't we? Her price is at almost 8 cents, and she's down about 1% today, and she's on the NASDAQ. You got to have your price over $1 on the NASDAQ. You can go under $1, but not long. Go under there for too long, you get a warning. They tell you, get your price up in 6 months. If you don't, you're going down to the OTC. Or you can fix it by doing a reverse stock split and pushing that price up over $1. And they can go as high as they want. If you're going to do a reverse stock split, maybe you want to go to $5 and get away from that dollar. You never know what they're going to do. Well, they think we need to do a reverse stock split. We were given a deadline of August to get this price up, and it's not up to the company. It's up to us, the investors, and we're not doing it, obviously. So last resort, he's telling you we have a last resort here of doing it. He hasn't given us any numbers here, but he says if we don't do this reverse stock split, we are going down to the OTC. And he says this is going to be detrimental for the company. Stocks down on the OTC are not getting financing. If you're not on the major markets, financiers are not stepping forward. Companies right now on the OTC are struggling. We're going to see a lot of companies on the OTC disappear because they can't get money to keep them going until they hit cash flow positive. And this is what he's worried about. He says, so we don't have a choice in doing this. So I don't think we're going to push this price up over to $1. And it sounds like...
So I noticed that news was from the 31st of May, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Do we have anything from like April 22nd, 23rd, or May 14, 15?
Let me check that in just a second.
Okay.
Now, if by some miracle we do get over $1, they're not going to do the reverse stock split, but they are going to increase the authorized share count, doubling it, going from 200 million up to 400 million. And he's telling us we have to raise money somehow. So he doesn't say public offering, but that's why they want more shares, unless they're going to make a deal with someone and get assets in, or a revenue generating company or something. But one thing or the other, but not both. He goes on to say here, one way or the other, but not both. In no case is both going to happen. Either a reverse stock split or an authorized share increase with public offerings behind it. So you were interested in news in late May?
No, more like the middle of May, like 15, 16, or middle of April.
Yeah, they let me see, scale up commercialization for autonomous vehicles for their first quarter. That news came out on the 16th.
Okay.
They wrote out a partnership with Robot Labs on the 14th. There's some more catapult there. And they came out with their financial results on the 8th. So we probably had a good week right there.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what sort of information we got going on around the stock. Well, she's up on her volume. She went from 37 million shares, which has been her daily average over the last 30 days. She's up to 45 million today. Share structure, not bad. All I know, outstanding share count's 141 million. They don't tell us anything else. And that's not bad. I mean, it's not a low float, but it's not a high float. That's just an average float right there. Market cap, we're at about 11 million. Financials, let's see what we're doing for this company. Well, it's only been the last 2 years they've had money coming in, and it's kicked up, what, 6 times, from about $250,000 up to 1.5 million. That's a good jump, and the profits went right along with it. Like to see that. Quarterlies, I don't like to see that. That's bass backwards there. Year ago, we had the most money we were making, getting close to $1 million, and we've fallen downhill to this $5,000. And we've been losing profits, and now we're losing more money than we've ever lost. Not liking that. See what we got in the bank. Remembering, we got 3 zeros to throw on any of these numbers if I've been confusing you. Cash in the bank, we got about 2.1 million. Total assets, 9.7 million. Ooh, that's surprising. Total liabilities isn't even 2 million. So she's losing money, not making hardly any money, but we've got positive stockholder equity. We're not carrying any deficit here. We got about $8 million. Anything else we need to know here? Let me take a look at those disclosures, and let me take a look at my notes. I like to mark these things. Yes, there was one other thing. Holy cow, how did I miss the biggest piece of news possible? Kick me in the crotch. NVIDIA. They just incorporated NVIDIA chips on their hardware, on their software now. This is a
huge
whole
news.
Yes. You know, they had smart autonomous equipment before, but now it's AI driven. Now, I don't know what the difference is going to be. I don't know all the implications, but obviously there's going to be some. You know, maybe AI knows that it doesn't have to creep at 3 miles per hour down the straightaway. Maybe 3 is what it needs for around the turns, and it knows it can do 8 miles per hour, you know, and all of a sudden you're up to 700% increase because AI knows how to pick up the slack here and there. There's going to be all sorts of curves in this. So that's a great advancement that they got here. Plus, they do have that new vehicle. I don't know what the heck they do with that vehicle, but that's what you guys are here for, to do more due diligence. So that's what we got going on here. I'm glad you picked my brain there. I almost forgot about NVIDIA. Let's go take a look at that chart now.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so we did look at this on the 8th of February. So this was right here. A couple notable things. It kind of had a very small forward split, 11 for 10 here. That was at end of October-ish. So according to this, say what? So this,
what's the point of that, for goodness?
I know, 11. Yeah, I know. So I just pointed it out.
I appreciate that. I like to laugh. That was fun.
So this line was already drawn because it looked like we had some support here. This is the daily chart, by the way. We lost it, and then you can see here it kind of became resistance. We've popped up and, hit it right here and came up above it here, but we have not been able to hold it more than, a week-ish.
What
But you
does
can
the
see
4 hour look like? The 4
it,
hour I can judge a lot better on than the daily. Oh, steady
we
downhill trend.
we still have lower highs on the 4 hour.
Sure do. She isn't showing a
So
whole lot of light at the end of the tunnel yet.
So this line here was its, I looked it up on another source. This was its 52-week low was just under 7 cents. And right now we're just under 8 cents. So if that gives you a little bit of a context of where we are, this is its like all time or 52-week low, 52-week low for sure. I don't know if it's all time, but 4 hours not looking too great unless you kind of think this is like um, a what do you call it? A descending wedge-ish,
An anchor?
but it's not looking that great except
You
for
know,
seeing
you
these
know
little
what I'm
spikes
thinking
of volume.
here? We know we've got a reverse stock split coming. We know
Okay.
that. And
See that catalyst.
I see value in the company. They just
Okay.
got NVIDIA. That's going to be a big boost on their product. And when manufacturers and warehouses see that they can literally be making an extra profit by using this, it's going to sell itself. So I'm thinking this is going to do a reverse stock split. Let's just count on that.
Okay.
Every reverse stock split pisses people off, and they will dump as soon as it happens, even at a loss, because they're pissed. They can't get their emotions out of the game, and it's going to fall. Well, whatever the reverse stock split is, it's going to push the price up. Let's say they only go 10. They got to do more than 10. God, they got to get over $1. Could be 100. Well, for that would be 100 pennies. For every penny it drops, that would be equivalent to $1 drop. So I would wait till after the reverse stock split and let it fall, every penny representing $1 if it's a 1 in 100 reverse stock split. That's how much it would be falling over here. That's the equivalent. And then buy your shares in after she starts to bounce. Let some of it climb. Get some assurance. That would be how I'd play this, because I like the company and I would be looking for an entry, and that's where I'd be looking for it, not on this side of the reverse stock split.
Yeah,
That's
afterwards. Yeah. So right now it looks like, this little area is kind of like it was kind of a support, looked like a pickup area as soon as it would come into this shaded part around, I don't know, 8 to 8.5 cents, it would come back up, but we lost it, tried to regain it, lost it again. So we are down here about roughly a penny away from our all-time low.
Yep.
So
Yep.
this is on the 1 hour chart, by the way. Kind of looked like we had a double top here and steady decline. I mean, we tried to pop up and see we're coming that 200 on the 1 hour and then just fell. I mean, it's moving on volume, obviously. So when that news comes out, it'll pop or do whatever. It doesn't seem to move too much on earnings. It has kind of a delayed reaction. I looked at that. I mean, I don't need to go into too much detail there, especially when we have a new catalyst coming up. So
yeah. So that's the way I think it's actually looking good for how I want to play it.
okay.
Really, whatever happens on this side of the reverse stock split, I don't think matters, because once it climbs the next split, it's going to fall. There's always a fall after a reverse stock split, just because of emotions and investors, the way they feel. You can't avoid that. And that's going to be my buy-in after it splits and falls, because now you got to take into effect all that difference. The fall is actually magnified up there, and I see the value as it drops. So I see a buying opportunity, and I do like this company. John Deere's involved, Vivian's involved.
We'll have to revisit it after it does happen, because it's going to mess up all these lines that I have, because you know how those charts do over here on trading.
Yeah, well, shouldn't the chart stay the same? Just the numbers will change, but the chart actually stays the same. Your line should still be in the right places.
Oh, no, the lines will move completely because the value will change. So those lines are going to still stay at like 11 cents, 7 cents.
Oh, right. So the lines are set at value, not chart.
Correct.
Oh, I never thought about that. Oh, right. Maybe that's why some of my lines didn't make sense when I came back.
Yeah.
Like, why would I put it there?
Yeah.
Okay. See, we all have room to learn something. The more you know, the more you grow. All right, we're ready for number 2, I see. This is TCRI. This came to me off of Twitter. I'm sorry if I don't remember your name, but I remembered your ticker. That's the most important part. This is Techcom Inc. Finished today at 18 cents. Had a real good day. Was up about 39%. She's on the pink tier. She's got one of those validated pieces of information, the transfer agent, which is really, really important. Study it one day when you got nothing else to do. Verified profile, they don't have it. Not a deal breaker, but it's reassuring to see it there because it's the only validated information you get on pinks. And that's where I've lost most of my money. And when I say most, I'm talking over $50,000 in the last 2 years.
Ooh.
Pinks. Pink should be blood red, not pink. They're killers, man. And that's because I trust people too easily. You're trusting management. All the information they give us is coming from them. It's not vetted by anybody else. The financials don't have a CPA looking at them. No. We're just getting stuff handed to us. So I like filings, not news presses when it comes to pinks. News presses that bust my butt every time. This is a shell company. That's good. Shell company means that they are not claiming to be in business. They're not doing anything. It's like a mini SPAC. They're all ready for an acquisition or a merger, but they're down here on the OTC, not up on a major exchange. And in saying that, I do believe, folks, you are going to see this September a lot of major changes with regards to shells on the OTC. The shells have been playing the shell game, if you will, with the investors for decades. Just like I was saying, they bring out a piece of news about this big deal they're making, a hot new piece of tech they've got, and they have us run that stock up, and then something goes wrong with due diligence or blah, 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 and the deal falls through. And then 3 months later, they got another deal on the table, gets that stock running, and then it falls through. Well, that goes on and on and on, and it's not supposed to. SPACs on the major exchange have to jump through hoops. They are given 18 to 24 months to cut a deal, start making money, or else give all the money back to the investors. I'm not BSing you. You invest in a SPAC at $10 a share, roughly, you're going to get your money back if they fail to close a deal within that time. That's the only money back guarantee I know on the market. Now, I'm not saying they're going to do that with shells, but they are going to put time limits in. They're going to have more hoops for them to jump through. It's going to become safer for us. About time. All right. So what is TCR all about? Well, I'll tell you what. TechCom, there are 3 companies out there that use this name around the world. Exactly the same name. So I had to start looking at different avenues. I started going by the address. That wasn't giving me anything. So what I did was what you need to do. This is a shell company. They got nothing going on. There's nothing to tell you about them except that they're pretty clean. I do believe I got a financial up here. Yeah, we've got assets of 2.2 thousand. There's no zeros here. And we have liabilities of 216,000. Me and you have stockholder deficit of about 214,000, which makes sense. It's a startup company. They got expenses. They have, let me see. Let me check my notes here. Make sure I got the right company. Yes. Their primary shareholder is a company called Alphabet. Alphabet changed all the management. Everybody from top to bottom, CFO, treasurer, secretaries, directors, changed everybody. But there is no listing anywhere of change of control anywhere here. It's not like he put more money in. It's just he barked and they listened. I don't know why. None of the new management are getting paid. They have no operations and nobody's receiving pay until they're making money. And no info study manager. And based on that, what you do, folks, is you study the management. Well, this is how I found their website. I was looking up the CEO right here, and it had his name and this company's ticker next to it. So I found their website, and it's a pretty website, but there's nothing to be read here.
Pretty.
Well, they got a bunch of adjectives about their dream and their mission, but they don't even tell us what sector they're looking for. They're looking for a profitable business. No kidding. You know, I would have thought you were looking for a business losing money. Yes. And then they tell us about the management. And here's my point. When you've got nothing else to look at, you better look at the management. That's all you've got here because that's who you're investing in. You have no assets on the table. You have no technology, no plan. You have no business model. You have no market targets, nothing. All you've got are these people in front of you. These are strangers. Would you just give your money to any old stranger? Now, yeah, they say, take my word, we're doing this. Well, a stranger can tell you a nice, pretty story and get you excited. You're going to give them your money? No,
Probably. I'm just kidding.
you're going to want a little information on this person. Well, this is probably more money than you'd give a person face to face, strange as that may sound. Oh, excuse you.
I'm sorry. I got the giggles. Go ahead.
That was no giggle. I know what that was.
No, it really was.
So now,
I'm gonna
now
mute.
the bottom line is, if you're going to do, and you should, due diligence on the management, don't go to their website and do it. You really think they're going to say anything bad about themselves on their own website? No, go over to Google, put in their names and something that identifies them with their history, a certain degree or something. And then put in bad words, negative search words. You don't want to look up good stuff. You want to find the bad stuff. And the bad stuff will be hidden amongst all that other good stuff. So put in liar, criminal, court, record, something like that. Scammer. Put in negative words. Put them all in there with their name. See what pops up. If you get a lot of information coming back, you may want to avoid that company. That's all you've got to look at, folks. And I don't know anything about these gentlemen. I just found them. So, all right. So that's all I got on this company, folks. They are a clean shell, ready to do business, but I didn't see a hint of any business anywhere. I went through their entire financial, looked at the bottom for those tidbits under subsequent events or extra information. Nope, nothing there. So don't have a clue why she's running. Don't know. I didn't see anything. If somebody knows, tell my partner Taylor in the comments or drop a comment down below if you're watching the recording. So what do we got for our relative volume? Jeez. So we're up 38% and our volume is way less than half of what we normally do, dropping from 8,500 shares down to 3.1 thousand shares. Out of curiosity, we are on the OTC market where they tell us we did 4 billion shares today. That was divided up amongst 12,000 companies. No, they didn't get it evenly either. Oh, go back. They didn't get it evenly either, right? Every company got what they got, and a lot of companies didn't get squat. And 2 years ago, the average day had about 60 billion shares, and we're down to 4 billion. So we're barely alive down here. Share structure for this company, pretty decent. Oh, that's scary. They got a lot of authorized shares just holding off behind the dam there if they need to raise some money. And if you see a shell company starting to do public offerings and they got nothing on the table, what the hell do they need money for? They don't have any operations. So that would be a key sign. If they did a public offering without having any deal on the table, I'd be leery about that. Wow. So we got 64 million, which is great. That's great outstanding share count. Insiders own 55 million of them. Whoa, they're seriously invested. Now, that leaves us with a great low float, under 10 million. Excellent. Watch out. Shell company looks great, outstanding. Lots of shares up here they could dump on the market to make money. Lots of shares here they could dump on the open market to make money. How? Pump and dump. They put out a piece of news. They got the most shares. They can make the most money from anybody. So watch their news. News is one thing. Now, there's nothing wrong with riding the hype. But understand, if it's a pump and dump and they start selling shares, it's going to come down fast, real fast. So you've got to get out. Don't be thinking it's going to bounce. It's going to keep going. No, it's not. Get used to selling something as it's climbing, when it's green and climbing. Do not always sell when it's dropping. You're on the wrong side of the tracks right there. So we've got a low float. They've got a strong insider holding, and we've got a market cap of 8.4 million. Financials are 000. Balance sheet is clean as a whistle, except for that 216,000 they had to spend. And you're saying, what do they need to spend that much for? Well, they may not have any employees to pay, not even themselves. They may not have any property even because they don't have an office. They work at home, right? Well, they still got to pay OTC fees, filing fees, lawyers, CPAs, there's a lot of bookkeeping expenses that are involved with businesses, whether you like it or not. So you're always going to have something on the books. Absolutely. Disclosures, there was nothing over here to consider. That's where I got their most recent financial. I did check this 8K out. Nothing of interest to share with you. So outside of that, all we got is the chart. Taylor, you got anything good to share with us on this company? Hello, Taylor.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I was because I was laughing. So I know this is kind of far back, but do you have anything from November 8th? It's kind of critical.
November 8th is critical. Well, we got to look at it if it's critical.
Yeah, because its daily volume, believe it or not, was 619,000 compared to like 3,000 that was today, give or take.
Again, what was that date? I'm sorry.
November 8th.
All right. We had nothing on the news. November 8th. Yeah, we had an 8K the day before.
Okay.
Let's see. Departure of directors and officers. This is when Alphabet got rid of all the old management. It was in November. Okay. He kicked everybody out, brought in a whole new team, and we've been waiting.
Okay. Oh, we can look at the chart now.
So there must have been. Well, did it jump or fall on that day?
I'll show you. It jumped a lot. Started out at around like 4.5 cents and jumped all the way up to 40 that day.
1,000% for kicking out the old management.
Yeah, so you can see what went on. We were, our lows were down here around 2 cents. Now our lows are around 11 cents. So it made.
I don't want to jump to that conclusion. It may not be a celebration of the old management going out. It could have just been we see things happening, because there was some buildup to this and people were waiting for something to happen here. And all of a sudden you're changing management. Why? Because we've got jobs for them to do. So that could have just been it. Just a burst of excitement because it's alive.
Okay, well, I was just wondering because the volume was extreme that day. As you can see, I mean, this is the 4-hour chart now, by the way, but this day was 619,000.
Superior. Nothing has ever come close.
Yeah. Anyway, so I put this new like pickup area around 10 cents, give or take. I marked off this as like a descending channel, and we have popped out of that as of June 4th. And, we haven't even really come back down to that. So we came up today to about 18 cents. And so hopefully we can hold that. The 200 has slightly come down. So we're trying to reach that. We hit it a couple days ago, hit it here. But we're still kind of holding this area above here and above where this channel would be continuing. So we can drop down to the 1 hour and see what is going on. It's kind of like a barcode-y looking chart, as you can tell. I think that's mainly because the volume is pretty low right now. But this is what we're looking at. This is the 1 hour. It's kind of weird to look at. I know. Kind of hard to decipher what's going on. I think here's some support here at around 13 cents. We can mark that. And that is what we're looking at. This is the 1 hour.
Yeah, she's bouncing around. I mean, you could see all those days. There's some big green bars. Virtually every day has a big green bar behind you.
Well, this is the 1 hour now, so
So, but I'm saying in 1 hour, it's moving a lot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whether it's uptrending or downtrending, it's got bounces there that money can be made on if you're scalping. But now, people think something's going on. I think speculation is building up, and speculation can get a stock running. Rumors start running. Stock goes silly, and ain't nobody got a freaking clue. And next week, we could be looking at this stock going, who knew? We looked at it, but we said. So, I mean, all I can say is if things change, if things look strange, it's time to watch it. If things aren't acting as they normally do, watch it. It could be an opportunity in the making.
Yeah, could be.
Doesn't look great, but
I'm just looking for this to come back down to around 13. Maybe pick that up, and then 13 to 18 is pretty significant. That's what, like 30%, 40.
Yeah, 30%.
I don't know.
Close. Yeah, and
I'm not doing the math.
Most of us run on 20% gain. So if you're getting 30 on a 20, you're doing good.
Yep.
All right, let's move on
to that.
What do we got next? Dupuis. deploy.
That's from Belmore.
Yes, this is from Velmore. Velmore, you had given me a second one, PPBI, I think it was, and I had actually done the homework, and we had actually already looked at this not too long ago, and nothing has changed on that, so I really wasn't going to have anything to report on it. So that's about as much as I could have said. I just did it a lot faster, so I covered that one for you. Now I'm going to cover this one. This is DPUI. This is Discount Print USA. I do believe I have a video out on this one. I covered this a long time ago, actually. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it was last year, I recall, because this news here is what I covered. I remember actually going through it. Today, she finished at 0016. She's way down there. She dropped today almost 6%. She is on the bottom tier of the OTC, the pink, so look for validated information. We got as much as we're going to get here, unless they're SEC reporting, unless they ask to be transparent and are using 10Ks and 10Qs. We always like to see a pink do that. That's a big sign. So this was news I covered back then, and really this is what we're looking at now. Today, when we start looking, they had entered into the $50 billion convention industry market. Anytime there were conventions, they were printing up. And how do they do that? Well, they put offices next to all these convention centers, every places that have conventions week after week after week, and they put printers there. Then they entered a $10 billion banner printer market, $30 billion web to print market, a $50 billion global event exhibition market. They were finding niches and they started building brick and mortar. I mean, they were online, but the competition online is thick. It's heavy. And believe it or not, brick and mortar has been being abandoned because of online access. So they just picked up the slack, and now we're looking at that many. And they say they're still building. They're still finding hot zones that they're needed. I don't know how many that is, but it's quite a few of them out there right now. And they do all sorts of printing. I don't care what it is, banner, sheet, pop-up, I mean, anything. Yes, they do postcards and stuff like that too, but they do all this very creative printing. So they're very versatile. Let's see here. Filing, we've got a 13G here. This was by Capital Investments for 9.9% of the company. 13Gs and 13Ds are filed whenever you have a new owner come on board. They buy so many shares, they get a percentage. And most of them will be under 10% because when you go over 10%, it's a different ball game, different hoops. So they like to stay under it. Then we got a bunch here I didn't look at because they're kind of old. Outside of that, I didn't see any news because that's the news right there. And I went and looked and I didn't see any news. That's why I was showing you the old news, because that's what they've been working on. Maybe they're still working on that, but they should put something out. That would be nice. So let's go take a look at the relative volume. Well, people are excited over nothing new, so that's good. We jumped from 3.4 million. Darn, look at that. Virtually double. Almost on the head. 6.8 million. That's grand. Share structure. Not the greatest. It's not the worst. 290 million outstanding. Insiders got 26 million. They got 10%. That sounds normal. 10% of what we have, 263 million. We got just over 250 million shares. Sounds like a lot when you say it that way, don't it? Wow. Look at that. Market cap isn't even $1 million. Now, if they were up on the NASDAQ, they'd be warned. They'd have to get that up somehow. Disclosures, I do believe we covered all that. That was where we started from, isn't it? Basically, it is. So that's what's going on or not going on. That's what this company is all about. Outside of that, we really need to take a look at the chart because I don't have a clue.
Okay. So we have been bouncing around. I'm looking at the 4-hour. Last time we looked at this was the 18th of April, which was around here. I had already marked off some of these levels like this. Well, down here, sorry. These two I marked off as the next 2 points on the upside, 0018 and 002. So this was the first one, which we, jumped up before. And you can see this was a nice resistance, which we blew past, became support, a really nice one, as you can see, which was the 001, which I think is one of your favorites, or is it? Yep, that's one of your favorite levels
It
there.
is my favorite. Absolutely.
Yeah, so we came down right to it. That was nice. And then it's just been a steady up climb. We have been coming back down and up and up. It looks like a nice stair step. Let's look at the 1 hour and see what we got. Yeah, see, look at that nice support there at 001. Its high was 0018. I think the next one up beyond that would be 002. So see what you think about that, John. That's
I
what's
like
going
the
on
chart.
immediately.
It
Okay.
got on top of the 200,
Yeah, look
bounced
at
off
that.
the 200, and now she's climbing and pushing away from the 200, Jed, just like a long jumper. It's looking nice. But you got to expect she's a bouncer, so she's going to roll. And it's our job to figure out where she's bouncing. You've got some perfect supports there for calling them a ways back and having them
Oh,
on the
yeah.
board already. Bink, hit their heads
Right
right
here.
on them. Yeah, sweet. That's what they come in handy for, not just the past, but in the future. If they fall into your right channel, now you can start making plans. And this is actually moving into, I think we ought to look at it stage right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, since we looked at it, we have come up to it and then came right back down, and now it's acting as support. You can see it's hit multiple times right there. And I mean, that's a really good mental level anyway, 001. So it doesn't really surprise me that it's respecting that.
You know what? We missed doing the financials, didn't we?
Possibly. Would you like
Yeah.
to go back?
Yeah, it was just, just pop it over there for a second because I don't want to cheat anybody. I'm trying to give you your monies, but I'm very anal. If I don't have a set system, I kind of forget things, which is why I have notes. I was just looking at my notes.
Go back to DPUI. You're on Poet.
Poet and don't know it. But my feet are long fellows. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the oldest comments out there. All right. So, yeah, we did not look at this. Our revenues have been growing nicely, folks, over the last 4 years. Doubled from 37 to 66, then going 5 times up to 300 and taking about 20% jump up to 360, pulling in profit every single year, growing. Quarterlies, ups and downs, but it's okay. Over the last year, we're between $80,000 and $120,000 every quarter, and we're pulling in regular profits. Balance sheet on the company, not a penny in the bank. I like to see some money in the bank. Total assets is only 24,000. Total liabilities is a lot higher. It's like 20 times that, 482,000, which means we are holding liabilities, equity loss in this company of $457,000. All right, you can take it back to the chart.
Oh, okay. Whoops, let me switch back. I went back to the daily so I could put my thing on there, but here we go. This is the 1 hour again.
Yeah, let me see that. All right, so what's our 5-minute look like on this? Because she is on an uptrend right now.
Looks a little wonky. It's hard to see. Like when we go to these lower time frames, it gets a little barcodey looking, but that's okay. You can
I'm
still
used
see
to looking at that. I'm very used to that. That looks normal to me.
Not to me, but it's all good. We kind of have this.
We love you anyways, Taylor. It's okay.
At
Yeah,
least I'm here. I'm trying. Yeah.
She has graduated from the 200 up to the 50. She's left one strong SMA up to the 50. I'd like to see her push up to the 20 and then start to climb. But she's worth watching right now. She is showing all the signs of continuation and a normal bounce progression. And if some volume comes in, that'll make the bloody difference.
Oh, yeah, like it did here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we get a little bit of volume. It can go a long ways, especially on the OTC market where there's not a lot of volume.
Yeah, and that was late in the day on Friday. We had a big pop in volume, looks like, on the 5-minute here.
Yeah, so maybe go check and see what happened Friday around that time.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter's a good place to look for that sort of stuff.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
Now I can look at Poet Don't Know It. My feet are long fellows. Get my money's worth out of that. Okay, this is Poet Technologies, and I'm on the wrong page because I thought we were looking at the financials for Dupuis. Poet Technologies finished today at $2.01. She was up over 3%. She's on the NASDAQ. All right. I liked Poet Technologies. I've not heard of that. Actually, I've seen it often, but I've not really looked at it close. Somebody requested it. Thanks, man. I'm glad you did. I'm going to tell you right now, this to me is classified as a pick and shovel company. These are the type of companies I've been talking about here recently. Companies like NVIDIA. Any successful company has a product. They're being supplied by other companies. Absolutely. Most people don't know how many companies support NVIDIA. Actually, the chips themselves are made by a Taiwan company for NVIDIA. So, you find companies that are public that are supporting them. And this company is supporting other companies with their technology. And it's in AI. And it's going to be hot, folks. So I think this is a company we need to be looking at. Poet Technologies is a developer and manufacturer of optoelectronic devices, including light sources, passive waveguides, and photonic integrated circuits for data communications. All right, let me see here. They make these different types of devices that all work with AI, but they're primarily working with light channels. Now, let me tell you down here. They fabricate semiconductors using a technique that they created, the first ever wafer level integration of electronics and photonics into a single device, the Poet Optical Interposer. So they're making semiconductors that don't just work on electrical devices, but also photosonic devices, light devices. They're using light and electricity in their semiconductors. Electricity moves fast, light moves faster. And I don't understand the science here, but they've got it. They're working with it right now. And they've got a lot of different parts that this sort of technology is being used in right now. And they've got a lot, where is it? There, we got partners. So they're not alone out there. And that's the other thing. I always look for companies that are partnering with other companies. What else did we learn about this company? God, we got lots. All right. We've got an old piece of news back in March, which connects to the most recent piece of news we had on May 30th, the acceleration of warrants. They had warrants. Warrants allow you to buy shares at a cheaper price in the future. I don't know when these warrants were sold, but they were coming near their expiration date. Well, when the price went over $2.16 for 10 days straight, there was a 30-day expedience clause, which meant they took away 30 days off the deadline. So they have a bunch of warrants that have a deadline of June 28th, I believe it is. Let's see what I tell myself here. Yes, I remembered. June 28th, they got a bunch of warrants. If they are not exercised by June 28th, they're dead. They're gone. I don't know how many are out there, but if they get exercised, all of those get tossed into the float. So we got that to consider as well. Back in March as well, the company enters optical module market with their 800G transceiver. We were actually looking at a picture of that. In March again, busy month for them, Poet and Multilane collaborate to develop high-speed pluggable transceivers. Wind backwards, we looked at a picture of that too. It was up at the top. In April, the company augments investor outreach efforts. They want to keep in touch with us and announces management role changes. That would probably be a decent one to read into. This one caught my attention. I do believe I have this one up, don't I? I do. Poet announced design win and collaboration with Foxconn Interconnect Technologies for high-speed AI systems. Folks, Foxconn is huge. I did a search on them. Name a company. Name a company that works with digital technology. Nokia, Apple, Nintendo. I mean, any of them. Just go on. Just start naming them. This company has been there with all of those companies, and now they're with this company too. I think that is freaking amazing. And I've already covered that piece of news. So what do they tell us in this news? Poet and FIT, that is the abbreviation for it, have entered into a collaboration to develop the 800G and the 1.6T pluggable optical transceiver modules using POET optical engines with an aim to address the growth in demand for cutting-edge AI applications. Here's the juice. POET expects to complete the design of the optical engines for FIT by Q3 2024. We should be looking at it now then, and start optical engine production at its joint venture, Super Photonic Xiamen, by Q4 2024. This is a facility. That's another piece of news you need to go look at. The global optical transceiver market for this project is projected to grow at a average growth rate, compounded average growth rate of 33% from 2024 to 2029, from 2.5 billion to 10.5 billion. And they're guesstimating, folks, we don't know how fast AI is going to grow. That's why NVIDIA is growing so bloody fast. And we're still in the babe area of AI. And look how big NVIDIA is. Unless someone comes out with something better, NVIDIA may just improve their chip. Generation 2, Generation 3, end up being a $10 trillion company. God only knows. But all these companies that support those gigantic companies may not be getting the press, but they're getting the money. They're getting the value. They are constantly putting out products and generating revenues. That's what I see in this company. All right, let's see what we got. Doesn't look to be any excitement around it. Not the way I'm talking. Dropped just a wee bit, about 30,000 shares today. If they were doing millions of shares, we wouldn't talk about a 30,000 drop. But they went from 488,000 down to 457,000. Ow. Share structure. That's not bad. Thank God. We got a nice share count here. Outstanding share count is 61 million. No, we don't search anything. Don't know anything else about it. I just know that your float isn't higher than 60 million because it's the outstanding, and because we're on the NASDAQ, it can't go any lower than a million. Somewhere in between there. Anywhere in between there is good. That's a great one. Market cap, we're at 118 million. Financials, are they making money? Yeah, but I don't understand how. 2021, they had 209,000, jumped to 500,000, and just a little under 500,000 at the end of 2023. And they made good profits, 100%. What a margin. How can that be for products that use plastic and metal and computers? And how? So I'm thinking this is, I don't know that they have a digital product. They may have a platform that just has subscriptions. They may have that. That doesn't cost them a bloody thing to do. They could also be given advice, consultations or something, talking. That doesn't cost you anything, so you get to keep all the money there. Quarterly. Well, you don't always get quarterlies on the NASDAQ. Semi-annuals, yeah, but they're old, 16 and 17. So we'll jump into the balance sheet. What do we got here? Oh, no, that's the semi-annual balance sheet. All right, at the end of 2023, yeah, this should be, we're missing one here. So we need to watch that, check their filings. We got 3 million in the bank. We have got 8.7 million in assets. Liabilities are down, 3.8 million. That gives us just about 5 million in stockholder equity. Now let me take a look at those filings over here. Oh, there's a lot of them here. I'm sure I took notes. All right, this first 6K here. There was a shareholder vote. I'm glad I looked. I like to read the shareholder votes because one of the proposals could be a stock split before it's approved. You knew about it. And let's face it, they're all being approved. This one wasn't. Oh, actually, there was no proposal on it. So we have no worries here. Warrants, compound annual growth, pick and shovel. Covered everything here, folks. So that's everything going on with POET. I like the company. I think they've got products that are innovative, that are going to help AI. And now that Foxconn is working with them, oh my God, it's a winning hand. I mean, that's affiliation up to a higher status there. So I like POET a lot.
Real quick, do we have any news from the 21st of April?
21st of April. That would be 4/21. Yeah, we do. We had financial results came out on that day.
576,000. Wait, more than that. 603,000 volume.
Yeah, compared to 500,000 today.
Yeah.
Well, is that what we had today? I think that's the same,
No.
isn't it? No, you must
Wait.
be
Oh,
million.
sorry. 6.2 million. Excuse me.
Yeah, yeah.
Way
I did a
off.
half a
Sorry
trillion
about that.
today.
I
Yeah.
was looking at the wrong. Sorry about that. I was looking at the 4 hour.
All right, bring up that chart. You've teased us
Sure.
enough.
Yeah, my bad. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. This is when it started this run. See this? This is, I marked off $1.
Oh,
This is the 4 hour chart. So I marked off the $1 mark. Its 52-week low was actually 72 cents, but that was way back. So this was in April. We'll just go by this.
yeah,
So we
yeah.
started at around $1, give or take, and from the 22nd to the 30th, we went all the way from $1 to $3.41.
Yeah.
So more than, yeah, that's pretty good. So after that, I marked off
Oh, I
this little
love that.
area that's around $2, like just under $2, where
Cool.
it looks like we had some support, and then it became resistance, as you can see, and now we have actually come up above that.
I love that chart. That
So
chart is
that looks,
beautiful. I
yeah,
mean, that has leveled off right in the middle of that run. If you were to
yep,
take a Fibonacci, that's right in the center, landed on the 200, waited for the other SMAs to turn up with it. Man, that's picture perfect.
very
That's what you want
close.
to see.
Yes,
I love it.
yeah, here, and then
Yeah,
this
and your
area.
support there, that support you got right there was beautiful. She's right
Yeah,
on it.
it is. And it looks like it's holding above, which is very nice. I mean, yeah, it pulls back a little, but see, we had here and here. We came up for resistance, and then we completely surpassed it and pulled back, and we're retesting it. It's like
No,
perfect,
I
picture
fully
perfect chart.
expect it. I fully expect it to come back to the 200 because your first breakthrough is just an over push. You get a nice launch out of that because you're breaking through something, but then you got to build on the ground. Now that you're up on the never level, you got to bounce on it, make sure it's strong, build security, and then
Yeah.
run. And I'm
Mhm.
telling you, we're looking for a buy in again. I like this company, but I got to pick and choose. I'm not rich, folks. I can't get into every company I like. I got to pick and choose, but I like this one. I
I'm
would
not sure
wait
if it's
for.
going to come down. I mean, this is the 15-minute. You can see we came back down. I mean, came up right to it, surpassed it, has retested a few times. So who knows? I mean, I don't think it's gonna. I mean, I could see this continuation.
I think in the long run, she's going to be a very strong stock. Whether I get in today or next week, I will be looking for an entry because I think this company has a hot innovation in a hot sector that is just beginning. And with
And the
Foxconn,
chart looks good too. So
yeah, I think it's a win-win-win. I do. I think, but do your own research. Get excited yourself. When you start feeling this, ask your wife how much you should invest. Never, and that's the other thing. Just because you're excitement, don't buy all of it at once. Don't, folks. You never know what could happen. We could have a war, and all of a sudden the market tumbles. You don't want everything you got invested into one stock. Just don't do that.
right.
Okay, I'm ready. What do we got up? Oh, yes, SMCE. She's been catching my attention. I got into this one a long time ago. I can't even remember what I've been through. I got 140 penny stocks, folks. And 63, 68 of them have gone through reverse stock splits. About 50 of them fell to the expert market or disappeared. Most of those were pinks. Yeah, most of them were pinks. This is what you get for taking the word of people. Hopefully AI don't do that crap. They'll start running companies. It'll be better for us. This company, I am in the green right now. Had an order in to sell right there at 35 cents. I was watching level 2. It hit 35 cents.
It did. Yep.
There was a lot of orders in at 35 at that 0035. We're just calling it 35. There
Yeah.
was a
No.
lot.
But
I
yeah.
seen mine come in at the bottom, and above it was like, wow, there was like 10 million shares. It's like, okay, I'll just wait my turn. Well, it just wore out. It wore out, came back down. Looks like it bounced again. Wow, it came all the way down. I watched it hit the 200. I'm happy to wait because I think this one's going to climb. They've got a lot of things going on right now, and I'll share that with you. That's what you're here for. So this is SMCE Entertainment. Finished today at 0035, up 35% today. She is on that wicked, dangerously low tier, the pinks. She's got all her verified information, though. So this is a holdings company. They are getting involved with fintech and AI, and they're blending the two together. They've got separate companies doing these things, bringing them together, creating their own little Frankenstein or princess, whichever way you want to look at it. Now, I want to start this off by looking at the news. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. I've got 3 pieces of news I want to share with you openly, but I want to headline all of this. Back in April, the company executes a stock purchase agreement to acquire 100% of AI-enabled wealth management technology platform. Name of the company, Finity Global Equities, EBT. They then close that deal for $25 million. That's how much it cost them. So it was no little operation. On the 19th of April, the company announces a marketing agreement with Plato Technologies. I can't remember which ones I've got open, so we'll just headline it and then we'll bounce into them. The company enters into an acquisition agreement to purchase 100% of the assets of Chain Trade Ltd. The company announces the cancellation of 250 million shares, reducing the outstanding share count by 17%. Must be a pretty big share count if it's only 17%. That's a lot of shares. On the 10th of June, the company announced completion review of Form 10 by the Securities Exchange Commission. Anytime you get a company, especially a pink, submitting a Form 10, not just talking about it, they're submitting it, that's a big deal. That's voluntarily putting yourself in the spotlight, putting yourself under scrutiny of the SEC and FINRA, putting hoops in front of yourself. Now they're going to have to report on a regular basis what they're doing, what they have, who they're doing it with. And that's great for us. That makes them more transparent. But normally this is a sign of bigger things to come. You don't normally become 10-sec reporting and stay on the pink. You normally go upwards. Could just be to the QB because you have to have your financials audited on the QB, and your price has to be at least a penny to be on the QB. Get up on the NASDAQ, you got to be at least $3 to get on the NASDAQ. And the last piece of news, the company announces retirement of $442,000 of debt. Actually, that's not the last. There's a very important piece of information here which shows true change. The company files corporate action with FINRA to change its corporate name and trading symbol. So there are changes going on here. This is the one that came out April 19th, the deal with Plato. Plato says the success of any ML, that is machine learning AI program, is data points and content management. Plato excels at both management of those data points and providing a cohesive platform to execute on. We believe we can successfully market their platform, in turn gain valuable access to archived content. They're going to throw bread on the water and let that bread come back puffed up and get a lot more out of it. So they're going to make money and then get more data to make more money on more data. We are continuously setting a new standard on what generative AI and generative intelligence represents to capital markets. Don't let that generative go by too easily, folks. Generative AI is not the equivalent of AI. AI is one butler in your house doing a task. You tell him to do the task, you make sure he did it right. That's AI today. Generative AI is multitask, godlike. It can do everything at one time. It can be watching everything at one time, holding multiple conversations at one time. It does it all. And that's what everybody's trying to get to, is generative AI, because it's going to be the true moneymaker. And that's what everyone's leaning on, and that's what they're talking about here. Next piece of news, the company enters into that purchase agreement with Chain Trade. The company has entered into an acquisition agreement to acquire 100% of the assets of Chain Trade, an AI-powered trading platform. The closing of the acquisition is pending completion, which is expected 30 days. Well, this came out June 7th, so we're looking at July 7th. That's not too far away. Chain Trade is a joint venture between Plato Data Intelligence and Red Matter, and was built to revolutionize trading and investing by leveraging AI's predictive capabilities. Now, I can't remember the name of the company. Somebody will throw it over there in the comments. Jenny, is that what it was? We were looking at the AI investor assistant. Well, that's what they've got, but this isn't an assistant. It's built right into the trading platform, and it brings in everything. Chain Trade has developed a platform to allow users to trade their equities, ETFs, commodities, and indices with the support of personalized AI-powered trading assistant. The launch of the AI research tool will enable investors to analyze thousands of data points, including live price data, performance, investor sentiment, fair value, risk factors. And I was reading elsewhere, it will look at social media, it will look at financials, get fundamentals. It will take all of that and create basically a scorecard for you and let you know your risk to reward. Is this a wise move or not? Where would be a good price to buy? It's going to be a true assistant. Is there anything else on this page? Nope. But I got one more piece of news. The company files corporate action to change their name and their symbol. They are going to change it to FinTechnical Innovations, ticker FIN, FYNN. FIN. Wasn't that the name that the boy of Breaking Bad, his son, he wanted to be called Finn? That's what I remember. I don't know why. What do you mean what's Breaking Bad? How old am I, for God's sake? All right, let's go take a look at the relative volume for this company. It's up. Looks to be about maybe 30% from 35 million up to 43 million, give or take a million. Share structure. Oh, well, okay. It's not all bad. We got 1.2 billion shares on the market. Of those, the insiders own the lion's share. They got 708 million shares, same shares me and you own, common shares. They may have preferred stock, restricted stock, but they've got a lot of common stock too. We've got 576 million. Now, if we go through a reverse stock split, so do they. And if they bought these shares expensive, they're going to hurt too. So we watch for them to average down. And that's what these guys should be doing. If the price is way, way lower compared to their average, and you can figure it out, they do tell you how much they've paid for their shares, how much they've invested, how many they've got. So you can see market cap, bloody heck. All we get is 3.3 million out of all those shares. Financials for the company. Now we're expecting revenues to change here. I hope so. God, there's nothing there. Yep. We're hoping for something to change. And this is what's scary when you start to see a stock running and they don't have any money coming in yet. We got a little bit, just a little bit of money on the books, $4,000 in the bank, 368,000 assets, a lot of liabilities, $3.4 million in liabilities. And we're holding most of it. 3 million of that is on us. God, what a shame, what a shame, what a shame. All right, let's see here. Looks like they're putting more shares on the market. No, this looks like a shareholder meeting. I think I already checked this. I did not see anything. Let me check my notes here. Filings correlate the news, numerous acquisitions. Right. So that's it. Basically, all of the filings we got over here all relate to news. These 8Ks, every time they put out a news press. And we just went through all that news and I shared it with you. So now it's Taylor's turn to share the chart.
Okay. So, yeah, look at this. Look at this chart. Okay. So, I have this shaded out. This is between 0013 and 0014. You can see it was resistance. Came up a little bit above it a few times, and now we've completely blown past that. Up here is that 0035 that you were talking about. This is on the 4-hour chart, and you can see all these EMAs completely spaced out, 9, 21, 50, 200. Let's go to the 1 hour. We'll see. Yeah, look at this. I mean, this is just climbing higher highs, higher highs, higher highs. And they are still pretty spread out. The 9 and the 21 are kind of close, but you know, these are really, really spread out. I mean, the 200's way down here at the support level, way down here on the 1 hour. It's looking very, very bullish. A little overextended, but you know, we are having its pullbacks, which is totally fine and good actually. So it's not completely overextended.
Right.
This is the 15-minute, looking really healthy there. Like this is all from you know, 15-minute chart, completely really nice. I don't know if this is another support area or not,
Yeah,
but
I almost sold yesterday at 2.9, but I looked at the charts and I said, no, she's got some strength. And then today at 3.5, and I'll be honest, I pulled it off and I put my price up to 3.7. I'm selling half. I'm only selling half, but I think this is, I think when it gets over that 3.5, I think there's a lot of push. I think there's some growth in that
I
zone.
mean, we've hit that 5 times just today. This is the 15-minute chart, so it's pretty nice. The volume came up a little bit compared to way down here, but nothing like it was back in where was it? This was on the May 8th. Look how high it was. I mean, it was in the what was it? 175 million that day.
Wow.
Crazy. So yeah, I mean, this is extremely bullish. Clearly, I mean, anyone can see that.
Yeah, and
But
think once they start making revenues, I mean, that's all they're missing right now. They've made all the deals, they've got all the markets looking like they're going to drop this. So I'm glad I'm in it, and I'm going to sell half somewhere probably before. Well, it depends how bullish she looks. And that's the point. I do have an exit plan, but my plans are made in sand, not concrete. I got to go with the market flow. And I have been patient. I could have sold off thinking that big drop right there was it. But no, there's so much strength in the 200 and then long-term turning up. Nah, all those deals, I'm very confident SMCE has got some surprises to give us. And she could turn out to be a darling of the OTC for a while.
it's good that you're going to secure some gains. You have a plan to exit. That's good. So keep that in mind. Some people don't. They just want to hold and think, oh, it's going to go to the moon. Well, secure
Well,
the gains while they're there.
Yeah, I don't always have a plan for all of it, but I definitely have a plan for some of it. I try to get my investment back. I at least try to get my investment back. So I take gains as she's growing. And I do find targets and I put in standing orders. I used to always watch saying I could do it. Well, I do so many things. I turn my back a lot and stuff happens real quick. It's like, when did it hit that? I could have sold. Well, put in an order next time and it'll catch. And it feels so good to come back from the toilet and see something sold. Oh, yeah, that was worth it. Everything came out perfectly. Oh, you got me back up. You sneaky.
Oh, yep, I do.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm not set up, but I'm ready. This is CBIH. I just posted news on this company, and I'm glad that I remembered. It was actually Taylor had asked a question. And it occurred to me, this is not your everyday cannabis company, as you're going to see here in a minute. This is CBIH, Cannabis Bioscience International. Finished the day at a super low price, 0011. Had a bad day, dropped to over 15%. She's on the bottom tier, pink. She's got the validated information. This company is a U.S. company based out of Texas. Now, they tell us here the company is dedicated to providing services in all therapeutic areas of clinical research through one of our products, the Alpha Research Institute, a Houston-based research unit that offers phase 1 to phase 4 clinical research studies. Now, when you go over to their website, it's a little overwhelming because this is what you see. And this is what the news showed too. They've got some sort of strange scanner. I don't know. You're going to have to do some more diving here, but this is the picture they show, and I can't imagine they're showing a picture that absolutely is. And it's not just here. The news I posted the other day, I always look for a picture to correlate to the news. And the picture I found was this. That's why I remember this was not your everyday average cannabis company. So there is news that I want to share with you about this company. Going back to March, the company retired 1 billion shares. Woohoo! I don't care how many they got. I'm glad to see that gone. And March as well, the company commences clinical trials of osteoarthritis injection, Orthocan. I do want to jump into this one. Is that this one right here? It is. Cannabis Biosciences has announced the enrollment of the first patient for the clinical trial of its new intra-articular cannabinoid-based injection for knee osteoarthritis. Now, I read that and I got all excited. It's like, you got to be kidding. The FDA is doing this. No, I knew they weren't. The FDA isn't doing a whole lot with cannabinoids or THC. They just got this chip on their shoulder about it and they just won't do anything. Maybe it's because it's still illegal, but they won't. So they had to go outside. This potential new medication is set to undergo rigorous clinical trials, and due to the U.S. regulations, it's expected to be developed in Colombia, Mexico, or Houston, Texas, depending on the cannabis declassification. The clinical study of Orthocan's injection is designed to provide key information that evaluates its safety, tolerability, pharmacokinetics, and efficacy. In other words, everything. They're going to do the entire trial. The next piece of news was, let's see, first patient applications. First patent. They are in the midst of filing their first patent. They haven't done it yet, but they're in the midst of filing their first patent. CBIH and Vita Biotech forge an alliance to propel clinical studies forward. Now, I just jumped to the conclusion they were talking about that other trial we just looked at. It wasn't, and that's not the piece of news. Is this the piece of news? No, it's not the piece of news. Where is it? Well, I'm going to get it up. It is this one here. This one was in another area. This was for a different drug. Can't find it at the very moment. CBH and Veritech look forward to potentially bolster credibility of our research among leading pharmaceutical and medical cannabis. So they're working together somewhere. So they've got another company with a whole nother research program. But the big news today, goodness gracious, Cannabis Bioscience, dedicated to medicinal cannabis research for over 15 years, has achieved a $2 billion valuation. Now, when I see statements like that, I want to know who gave you that valuation. What's it based on? Well, I couldn't find any of that information here. So some more due diligence would be required here. But the first thing that hit me when I was reading this is medicinal cannabis research for 15 years. How? This company, if I remember correctly, is out of the United States. It is out of Texas. I think there's only 2 licenses, 2 in the entire country who are allowed to study cannabis. They are given out by the DEA, and they don't do it. They just don't see any reason to do it. Meanwhile, Canada's 15, 20 years ahead of us. Israel's 20 years ahead of us. I mean, they got more science on cannabis than we do. We know more about psychedelic drugs because we've been able to study that. Though they don't consider that dangerous, cannabis they do. So, this company, let me see, the global oil and CBD consumer market is expected to grow from 40 billion up to 60 billion in the next 6 years at a 47% compound annual growth rate. Folks, that's just incredible growth. That is huge. The problem is when you're talking about cannabinoid oils or products, topicals, the market is saturated with competition. So I'd be more interested in whatever science they got going on here. I'd be checking into that. That's going to be their differentiating point. So what's this company's relative volume for today? It's up strong, about 60%, going from 15.5 million to 26 million. Share structure, oh God, ridiculous. They got 20 billion authorized. More than half of that is already on the market. Wow. Oh boy, that's huge. The insiders got 8.6 billion. That is gigantic. I mean, we got a huge number. 1.7 billion shares is nothing that I would ever consider small. But relatively speaking, we've got a very small amount of shares here. Now, I hate to keep pointing it out, and I never am actually making accusations against a company. I'm just saying, be leery of companies where insiders own a ton more shares than you do. If the market gets real strong, they have the option to sell. They don't have to get permission first. They report it, but that's an after the fact situation. You hear about it afterwards. So always watch. If you start seeing a ton of shares coming onto the market, it may be them trying to make some money. Again, because it's a pink, study the management. You're taking their word for everything. So go look and see what you got. You got true scientists here. You got people that got DAs, BAs, AAs, whatever the heck they got them. They have them. All right, let's see what we have for financials. Yeah, up and down, big time. From 290 to 3/4 million, back down to 1/4, up to 316. Good news is they're pulling in profits every single year. Quarterly, same thing, up and down. They're all over the place, but they're bringing in profits straight across the board. Balance sheet for the company. We got new money in the bank. That's never a good sign. Total assets is only 93,000. Total liabilities, $1 million. That's 1,000% up, which means we've got basically $1 million in deficit. It's not huge, but I don't see anything else we got going on here right now. Disclosures. All we've got are financials, a bunch of them. And if there was anything there, I'd have pulled it up because I love to dive into the bottoms of them. If there's anything juicy, share it with you. So that's what we got here. They do have technology. I'm not quite sure what it is. Maybe diving into that patent piece of news will tell you what the heck's going on with the technology, and you can start working from there. All right, Taylor, we're going to put it on you.
Okay. Since we're kind of low on time, this is just the 1 hour. So as you can see for the past, since April, so 3 months, it was, between here, 0005 all the way to 0008, but it just kind of, up and down, up and down, up and down, as you can see, starting the 17th of June. So this week we had a big jump all the way up to 002. So that's quite a bit, but if you can see this, I see a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern going on. I'm not sure if that's going to play out, so don't panic, but to
It's
me, that's
looking like it.
it's what it looks like to me, but that's not a hard and fast rule. I just see a little bit of a head and shoulders here.
But it
So
keeps
right now we're
coming down for a standard bang onto that 50 and just continue on. We've got to watch that.
Yeah. So I kind of marked off just like the main levels here that I saw, like, this is your favorite, this 001. This was kind of a resistance here at the 0014. Got past it, support, and now resistance. But it looks like we're kind of on the way down. We have trailed off all day today. This is the 1 hour. So if you want to go down to the 15 minutes, see what we got. Yeah, this is even more apparent. Look at that on the 15 minute. There's there. But but that's not to say that this couldn't be a support. I mean, the 001 area is a mental level anyway, so that could bounce off there. We got the 200 way down here on the 15-minute chart, but we have gone straight below the 9 on the 15-minute.
Yeah, and every other SMA is on her head pushing down. So I mean, if she stops at the 200, we're probably going to be lucky. I'd be looking for a rubber ball bounce to go under the 200 and then come back up.
It could, yeah. This is looking bearish to me personally, but
yeah, for an immediate entry, wait. But overall, she looks like she is trying to change trend.
But yeah, overall, obviously, it's up from these months and months of just between these couple of levels. So I'm not saying it's going to go all the way back down here, but that's a 50% loss if it does. So that's not good. We don't want that.
That's not good.
Not good. All right.
That Southern Belle came out. All right. Let me see where we at. No, that's not the one I wanted. We're going to start here with VHAI. That's so I don't confuse Taylor. She's got hers lined up with me. Together, we're synced. VHAI, Vocodia Holdings Corporation. This is on the CBOE exchange. This is a new exchange out there now. This is at just a little over 10 cents and at over 19% gains today. Vocodia is an AI software company that builds practical AI functions and makes them easily obtainable by businesses. They've had news come out. We're not going to dive into this one, but they're being talked about by USA Today. They were featured by them, this particular company. That's always good headlines. And then in April, Vocodia delivers a corporate update. Love those updates. Tell me what's going on. So they tell us up here that Vocodia is entering a transformative period marked by key strategic partnerships and significant technological breakthroughs. Our next generational conversational AI technology is redefining standards for customer interaction through efficiency and personalization, opening substantial revenue opportunities for our clients in major industries worldwide. So they just told you that this is a next generation conversationalist AI. This is going to be, could be on, I don't know where they're going to use it, phone, computer, wherever. And it's already out there for any industry that uses customer service. Yeah, like who doesn't have that? So that's a wide open market. I do believe we've looked at this before because this is all deja vu to me. But Cody announced the installation of its AI service platform at dealerships of top 3 global automobile resellers, plus an additional pilot programs are being launched with other resellers as well. They also recently launched a pilot program with a major utility provider. Big difference there. The pilot targets energy provider with over 1 million customer connections. And then they tell you about other things that they're doing, about how they kicked this off back in February. That's when they came on the market, February of this year. And this can handle up to 20,000 simultaneous calls in 50 different languages. And it stays on point. You know, it doesn't chat about anything else. It doesn't get scared. It doesn't get sick. It works 24/7. Anytime anybody calls, it's going to have an answer for them. So this is their new business. What was the relative volume for the company today? Pretty much the same. Normally we wouldn't talk about 150,000 shares, but when you're doing this little, so we're at 37 million. She's holding tight right now. Share structure. Whoa, we got ourselves a low float. I don't know what it is, but it can't be any higher than the float or the outstanding. We got 4 million outstanding. And it can't be anything. I don't know. I'm going to presume the CBOE has a minimum criteria, but I don't know anything about the CBOE. So all I know is that the float isn't going to be higher than 4 million. Could be lower, could be considerably lower, but wherever it is, that's a great float. Think about it. If they sell 10 million shares tomorrow, every share had to sell 2.5 times. Every share. And what if some people don't want to sell? You know that's going to happen. Now you have supply and demand. People want the shares. They made a demand for them with some hot piece of news or filing, but you can't get them. So the sellers hold them and keep asking for more, seeing the number over here on level 2 getting bigger and bigger. They want them. And then it pops and you get a big run real quick. Sell on the way up. 30%, 30%. Take your last 30% and run like a wild man, seeing if you can find the top. If you're going to gamble looking for the top, just take a little with you. Don't take it all with you. Don't know what the market cap is. I don't know why that is. Outstanding share count is 4 million. 10% of 4 million would be 400,000, right? So that should be the market cap. I don't know why it's not there. Financials, up and down. 34 to 500,000, back down to 250,000. At least now they're making money. The more money they were making, the more money they were losing. Let's not do that anymore. Quarterly. Okay, that's one way to solve the problem. They're not making any money. Just stopped. I don't know why. Gonna have to do some more research. Cash in the bank. Well, they're not broke. That's a good sign. 2.7 million roughly. Total assets, 3.3. Total liabilities, 2.4. Yay, we got stockholder equity. It's not a lot, but we can breathe air. Our heads above water, just under 1 million. Disclosures, I'm sure I'd have yanked them up here if there was anything we needed to see. I don't remember. Oh, let me check my notes. I took notes. Nope, covered that. $2 billion valuation. What's this? Received a letter. Uh-oh. Boy, I don't know why I missed this. My fault. Sorry. So they've been contacted by the NASDAQ. They have failed to meet the minimum stockholder equity. What was stockholder equity? About 800 million we saw, right? And they say it's supposed to be up at 2.5 million right there. So they have to get that up. Now, it's difficult to do that because that's based on assets. That's not share count or price. That's based on assets. They got to make a deal. They got to go make a deal and bring some assets into the company. They got to spend money to make money. And they could use their shares to do that. You can use shares as equity to make a deal with another company. They got to do this by, let me see, the company will now be afforded a 45-day period ending, July 25th. So we got just a month. So they've got to come up with a way to kick that equity up from 800 million up to 2.5 million by July 25th, or submit a plan to regain compliance. And that'll buy them more time. If you can submit a plan and they buy it, it'll give you time. But if you fail, ultimately, they're either going to have to do a reverse stock split or they're going to be thrown down to the OTC. Either case, it doesn't make most investors happy. Let's see here. That's about it. We'll turn it over to Taylor.
Okay. So this is really interesting. We did look at this on May 30th. I had this line drawn as its all-time low at 0.1017. And you can see how interesting this is on the 4-hour. This was a really major support
Yes, it
for a
was.
long time. And then it turned into resistance. You can see it's actually right at it right now. Its
Yep.
new all-time low is 0.0675. So that's about a 30-something% decrease from its previous all-time low. So right now we're coming up on that old support, new resistance at just over 10 cents. Let's go to the 1 hour and see what's going on. 1 hour looks promising, actually. You can see that we come up and kind of looks like a bull flag, and we have a few golden crosses here, or one actually, and one here. So two golden crosses, and we're kind of trying to touch that 200 on the 1 hour. You can look at the 15-minute if you'd like.
It's looking good. I'm liking it.
It's looking a lot better. Yeah, but now this is its new resistance here. I mean, it's not exact, but this was its previous all-time low. It's just over 10 cents. See, we came above it. We're just below it now. So if we can get above this and hold it, it will. I think it has the potential to continue because
you might want to look for a new higher high, which would be a nice pop.
Well, that would be above 12 cents.
Yeah, well, that's what we see here. We see higher highs are starting to happen, and they're big higher highs.
Getting there.
Yeah, they're big pops. So I'd be looking for that.
Nothing like it was up here. I mean, we did, let's see, just last week, June 11th, we were at above 15 cents. That's 50% gain from where we are now.
I'll take it.
Yeah, who wouldn't? So
yeah, that's debatable. Somebody was thinking it was going to keep going forever, so they didn't
take it. Take those gains. So this is what happened today. Had that morning dip. We've seen that a lot sideways, and then it just ran the end of the day. That's the 5-minute. That's what happened today.
I love those late day runs because normally the back half of the day is pretty trashy and slow and really not all that great. Boy, when you get a stock that decides to take off at 1:30, yay, we got something to do. Go for it.
And this dip happened after hours. So, I mean, you can see what happened with all these EMAs here. I mean, they really started to separate towards the end of the day. I mean, we're talking the last hour or so.
I'd expect for this to maybe hang on to that 20 going sideways until the 50 catches up to it.
Yep.
That would be my guess. Some sideways
around 9.5 cents.
Wants to continue. I'm feeling good about that. The chart looks strong. I like your oscillator. Yeah.
Yeah, much better.
All right, let's take a look at one. Last stock. This is DTII. I keep wanting to call it Diddy, but it isn't Diddy. But that's close enough, right? This is Defense Technology International Corporation. Finished today at 6.5 cents. Had a good day, up there over 45%. She too is on the bottom tier of the OTC. She's a pink. She's got the verified transfer agent, but she doesn't have a verified profile. Not a deal breaker, just reassuring. So what is this company about? Defense Technology subsidiary is a passive security scan and has world exclusive, which means nobody else is going to compete with them. Worldwide license to manufacture and distribute passive security scan. This is what we're talking about here. It's not a metal detector. Metal detectors use radiation. This is using Earth's magnetic field. They have a way of measuring that. And metal puts off a different magnetic field than you do. And they can see all that stuff. So nobody has to frisk you. You don't have to have anything penetrate your body, even a radiation, nothing. And they have this that goes in front of doors. Now, I like this, and they've got a thing going on right now with the defense, the DOD, no, Department of Homeland Securities. They had a test, must have went well in the test, because now they've entered into a cooperative research and development agreement. I like it for that sort of thing, but for, like, say, a mall or school or something like that, we now have that sort of technology, but it also includes being able to tell if someone has a temperature, or, like for COVID or something like that. I think the health benefits needs to be incorporated into it if you want it out there for the consumer. If you're only looking for weapons, it's a little dark, but definitely in the government buildings, and maybe we do need it in schools, for God's sake. I'm totally against guns in schools. So yeah, I'd be definitely for these things in schools. I'd have no problem with that. You'd get my vote. I don't like the discussion we're going to have on it, but you'd get my vote. All right, let's see what the relative volume is. That's basically the catalyst right there, folks, is that they've got a deal going on with the government now. I haven't done any due diligence. I don't know how many other contracts they have, how often they're doing business, but I'm sure when we look at the finances, we'll get a hint. All right. Wow. Well, something's got to be going on. I mean, geez, her relative volume jumped incredibly, going from 11,000 shares up to 444,000 shares. That's a huge jump, 44 times basically. Share structure. Hey, now look at that. See, I like this company already, just like that. They've got 600 million shares that they could put on the market, but they've only got 9.7, not even 10 million. They've got so few shares on the market. They could have flooded the market, been making themselves easy money, going on vacations. I mean, it could have been a different game. They've got about 50% of them. We get the other, it's roughly 50%. We get 5.4 million. This really looks good. Now, I had a associate, a kin thinking mind, telling me to stick away from this unrestricted number, because unrestricted could have shares that aren't actually on the market. So just because they're unrestricted doesn't mean they're on the open market. That's what I learned. So you really want to work with the DTC. I just have a problem finding that number most of the time. It's either empty or it's just not right, because this is a transient area, the DTC. That transfer agent we were talking about at the top here, that's part of their job, working with the DCC, getting those shares moving after you buy them, when you sell them, back and forth. So we have a low float and a very low market cap. Wow, under 500,000. Thank God we're on the OTC. I don't say that often. Take a look at the financials. Ouch. Yeah, nothing coming in here recently, the last couple of years. False start. What? All right, that's October of last year. We started doing something. We had 49,000 come in for something. Cost them 24. They got to keep 24. Somebody stole $1,000 there. We're missing 1,000. I can do my math. Somebody got robbed. Beginning of the year, we haven't had anything come in. Well, that's not looking good. We got no money in the bank. 7,000 in assets. Come on, poor people have more than that in the bank. Liabilities, 1.9 million. Wow, I'm not even going to figure that out, folks. That's a huge difference there, and we're carrying it all. We got 1.9 million and $22 that we're holding in deficit for this company. So what do we got over here? A financial. I didn't pull one up, did I? No, but I did pull this up for some reason. Was there something I wanted to point out here? I don't see anything that stands out. Well, did you have a question? Was there something on the chart I should look for, Taylor?
Oh, no, I was just looking. They did have a reverse split about 2 years ago. So the chart's going to be.
Yeah, I think I was looking at that earlier. I think they've had a few reverse splits.
They had another one, it looks like right 2018, here. One for 1,500.
Yeah. So they've had quite a few of them. It's been a couple years. They do them like every 4 years. Yeah, about every 4 years they had a 1 in 500 and 1 in 1,500, and they've still got a lot of shares that they could do another split if they wanted. No, we don't. So if they start putting a lot of shares on the market, a trick is to make money by putting a public offering out there, sell them. They get to keep that money when we buy them. Then do a reverse stock split to kick that price up if they wanted to uplist. And then they get all the shares right back. And we have a low float again. And they're up on the up on the major exchange. That's all I can share here. Time is running out, but we ain't on a time schedule. So leave me alone. Go ahead, Taylor.
Okay, let's see. Whoops, there we go. All right, so we're on the 4-hour chart. I just marked off some little levels here. Like this looks like one of the most recent lows, about 1.75 cents. And then we have some support here at about 2.8 cents. You can see it's been bouncing off of that.
Yep.
Big resistance here at around 5 cents, but we obviously went right above that. So that's going to be our new support is 5 cents. We go below that, it's not going to look good. This is the 4-hour again, like I said. So you can see this resistance hard at 5 cents. And then now I don't know what, I mean, I kind of zoned out, I'm not going to lie. I don't know what happened this last day, but it started to run.
Zoned out. Hey, look, when you start going into a 2-hour movie, people need a coffee, a pee. I worry about a pee. Are you kidding? I mean, I used to worry the biggest problem was a blunder. Then I worried I'd have a brain fart, forget what I was talking about. That's always a thing at my age. But now it's a pee. We're going to 2 hours. It's like I'm dancing over here. Come on, Taylor, you got to go quick. No, I don't.
Well, here's the 1-hour chart. Here's the 1-hour chart. You can see what's been going on. I mean, it's just been hit its head on that 5 cents. Came back down below the 200 on the 1-hour. And now you can see we're far away from all of these EMAs. And actually, this one is just about to cross one last one to do the 9. This is the 50 and the 21 right together, almost exactly the same. And then the 200 way down here at 4.16 cents.
That is an incredible run, and I'm looking for a catalyst, and there's nothing.
I didn't know if you mentioned one. Like I said, I kind of zoned out. Not gonna lie.
No, there is nothing here, and that is. I mean, I always say, watch a company when something changes. We don't know all the facts, but the chart reveals people who do know more than we do. Something, boy, oh boy. Now I wouldn't expect it to continue to run, but after it dips, it's already caught your attention. Now you wait for it to adjust. Wait for that pullback and then watch it.
It must not have a lot of volume because we have Tuesday here and then it just jumps to Thursday. I'm not sure. That's very strange. It does that sometimes.
No, we had a holiday. June.
Oh, that's right. Duh. I was.
I got up at 7 in the morning and started posting news and was complaining on Twitter. The news is thin, folks. Oh, Q isn't moving. There's a problem. What's going on?
But sometimes these OTC stocks do skip a day. Like when it doesn't move, if you go down to certain time frames, it just will skip that day. So
it does.
Anyway, it started to run today. And as you can see, we went from about 3.5 cents to a high of about 7.5 cents. Now we're landing at around 6-ish cents.
Wow. So almost 100% solid gain.
Mm-hmm.
On nothing.
Whatever, nothing, I guess. Yeah.
Well, something. We just don't know what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, and it just broke right through that really tough resistance at 5 cents, which is incredible.
Look how much volume it took to do it.
It took a lot. Yeah. Well, I mean, it at the beginning of the day hit its head. It didn't happen until 10:40 a.m. Central. So that would be 11:40. So nearly lunchtime is when it started. And look, it came back to support.
Once it ran into the 9-day, it was going sideways, hitting its head, pulled back, got frustrated. Then once it hit that 9, it was like, that's it. I just needed to hook. I needed to grab something. That's beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, the 5-minute looks nice
today. That's a beautiful setup.
Yeah. So thank you to whoever Brian brought this one up. Or no, who did? Thebes, my fault.
Thebes, yeah. Or as I like to call him, the best one. But he went and added an 18 behind the end of it, so I can't call him that anymore.
I had the wrong ticker the whole time, my fault.
That's okay.
All
Thank
good.
you folks for being here. I appreciate your support. I love your comments everywhere. I try to get to them. I am getting more requests for stocks than I can possibly handle, folks. If I at least I never put a heart or like just to, just to do it. That means I looked at it. I thought about it. All of your stuff, I still have time to consider. So I really appreciate the relationships we have going on right now. It's tight. And when I get big, I won't forget you. I promise. Taylor's
Okay.
coming with me too. Taylor's coming with me. When the market comes back, we're going to fly, folks. OTC is going to be hot, and you're going to know how to do your own due diligence because it's not about me. It's just about where you look and knowing how to look at each key spot. Find a hot chart, find a hot piece of news. You got a hot penny stock. See it do something different? Watch it. Put it on your list. Wait for a rocket stock to crash back down to earth. It's the bounce you catch it off of, not up in the air. Don't be tempted. You work too hard for your money to be scammed that easily. Trading can be fun. It doesn't have to be dangerous. We will see you next week, 4 o'clock, Thursdays. That's Eastern Standard Time, in case you didn't know. But if you're here, you probably do. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Can't you hold that note any longer?
No.